Hey people, what's happening? I want to talk today a little bit about the valve train, building this Frankenstein Windsor motor. Any kind of race motor, actually, it's good to use good parts in your valve train. So you want to pick your lifters to match whatever you got going on. Now, my lifter selection is a solid flat tappet. I'm not going with a roller cam. These are just Elgin standard. They look like hydraulic. You can see they got the clip on them, but they're not. They just got a solid plug in them and then an oil galley inside. The Lunatis and a few of the other ones, they have a little pinhole punched in there, like it's a laser punched hole. It's supposed to oil the cam when you shut it down. Who gives a shit? You're going to get oil. You're going to get oil. And then you want to get a good set of push rods. Now, these are high carbon steel. You're starting to bounce off of the valve springs, somewhere around 7,000, 7,500 RPMs. And it gets violent in there, and a cheap set of push rods are going to bend. So you get something high carbon, and these won't bend. If something catastrophic happens, they'll end up breaking, and that's fine. I've seen them bend too. Don't get me wrong. I've seen them bend. Now, just to let you know how violent it gets, you can see how that lifter has just been destroyed. This is a stainless steel. It's a good lifter. They'll hold together, but it gets violent enough that it will break. So I think this one swallowed a valve and ended up making contact and ripped that bushing out on both sides. Actually, you could almost look all the way through it. And I think those were my Lunatis. These are Manleys, but same shit. It's really good stuff. And whenever you end up swallowing a valve and get interference here, this baby is gonna break or bend terribly. You're never gonna bend it back. And then of course all of the pressure goes right in here and just blows it out. But the stainless steel I like. This is aluminum job. It's cast aluminum, anodized, it's black. It's nothing special in my book. It's lightweight, sure, but when shit really starts to get crazy, it's gonna blow apart right here at that small part, and when it blows apart, you're gonna have little chunks of aluminum flying all over. This, however, this isn't going to blow apart, okay? You're not going to have the shit. You're going to have aluminum flying around with this, and you're not going to notice it. You're just going to end up with a miss. If you have a failure, a lot of times you just got to miss. You're running around the track. You're thinking, well, I'm only running on 7 cylinders, but I don't care. You're going to hammer it down to the floor and give it hell. Now, another thing to consider is your adjusters. I can't remember. These might be Lunatis, but these are solid. These are about as solid as you can get. Now, the problem you have is right there. See, it won't fit into that aluminum. It'll fit into the stainless steel because the stainless steel, of course, is stronger. Never a bad idea to mill a little bit right in here so you got a little more freedom. But on the aluminums, you got to have these cheap fuckers that you get from comp cams. Junk. Like buying a scat crank. Give me a fucking break. But see, those are milled out to where they'll fit in the aluminum. I have both, right? Of course. But these things, when they really start to get, when it starts to get violent in here, and there's a little bit, it'll start to give you indentations on that surface because there's just not a lot of surface there. These guys here, you can see all the surface that's there. That's heavy, heavy duty. But, you know, putting this thing together, I'm not going to buy a whole new set. I've got enough here to last. I'll be rocking and rolling. And that one guy, he's not going to hurt anything. And I think I have another set of the Fat Boys over in the other shop. And another thing to consider. This is important. I don't have it. It's back in the toolbox. But they sell these. You always got to smell them. That preservative is, I just love it. But you get one of these, and it's actually a piece of like a threaded rod, and it's got a tip on each end, and it's got a couple nuts down in here. And you have to take your head off, and then get this down in there, and then put your head on, and then get this guy on here like so. And then you adjust it. You're going to go ahead and put your adjuster on here, and then you adjust everything down here and up here, kind of make a happy balance to where that roller is sitting right in the middle of the valve. So, for instance, here's your valve stem, and you want that right there. Make contact right in the middle of the valve, the stem, the valve stem. If you're that way or this way, then you're not going to hit that valve right on, and it's going to beat the shit out of your roller, and it's going to beat the shit out of your valve stem. So you want it right dead ass center. And when you get this motor put together, make sure that you have your lash set right. I don't care what you're running. Never run your lash over 22, 24 maybe. But I went by the book, and Lunati book, not to say anything bad about Lunati, but they said set your lash like 26 and 28. And I'm like, that's what the book says. I'm doing it. And my buddy, Ken Florence, he's like, man, that's got a lot of chatter to it. You got those valve lashes set right? I said, I got the valve lashes set by the book, man. I said, I don't know. It says 26, 28. He said, that's a lot. I said, I know. And sure as shit, man, I beat the shit out of everything in that valve train. And that'll be the last time I do that. From now on to be 20 and 22, maybe 18 and 20, you know. It just depends on where I feel the motor's happiest, but I'm not going over 22. Not going to do it. I seriously doubt I'll go over 20. It gets so violent in there. And, you know, it's just a little bit of chatter, right? You think 20 thousandths, that's just a little bit of chatter right there. But you run that, and of course your cam's going to run, you know, 3,000 RPMs, maybe 4,000, but highly unlikely. But you're at 3,000 RPMs with that, up against a 100-pound valve spring or a 110-pound valve spring. Every time it comes back down, you're hammering. And then every time you come back down on here, this isn't really going to hammer in here. You're going to hammer on your camshaft, and you're going to beat that lobe into a mushroom. So just a few things to think about. I don't know how much they are. It's been so long since I bought one. It seems like they're $20 or $30 for the adjustable push rod. That way when you get, okay, so when the push rod's set, right, when you get everything set and this thing's down touching the stem of the valve right where you want it, and this thing's down where you want it, and everything looks right, then lock your nuts into position, take this off, take the head off, and then measure it and order it. These are 8 3/4 inch, 8.75. But depending on the deck height of your engine, the valves you're using, the rocker arms you're using, everything makes a difference. So before you order your push rods, make sure you have all the components on your head. Valve springs, retainers, the whole 9 yards, and then do that. Make that measurement, spend that extra little $1 or $2, and get the adjuster. Because if you don't get the adjustable push rod, you're going to be like, well, I did the math and I ran the numbers and I got out my tape measure. I don't give a shit. You're going to end up regretting it eventually. It might work this time, But next time, you're going to be like, damn it, I should have had that adjustable push rod. So just my 2 cents. Good luck with your engine build or whatever you're building. Have a good week.